Hey guys, this is Rogue Rage with Vangirl and Crisco
Hey.
Chris.
Heyo!
Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on a deck that I just recently finished. It's a deck, it's actually, other than the leaders, the most anticipated deck for me, at least, for the Legion era. It's nothing too powerful, I guess. It's the Shadow Paladin Witches, and here's my starter. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. It's a lot different than what I normally run. It's super technical from what I've found. It's easy to misplay. So let's start off with the grade zeros. My starter, Creeping Dark Goat. A lot of people are on the fence about which starter to use. It really depends on your trigger lineup. You want the Goat because he's a grade 3 searcher, and you do want to ride into one grade 3 over another beforehand, but he does eat up a Counterblast, and a Counterblast kind of heavy deck based on the bosses. If you run draws, I'd run him. I run him even though I run stands. A lot of people like to run, well, not a lot, but the witch starter is Witch of Banquet's Leer. When she boosts a unit and it hits, if it's in Legion, you get to search 2 grade zeros from your deck, place them on your field. That works in conjunction with the Witch of Goat's Med. She's a stand trigger. When she's placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Witch Vanguard, you could Soul Blast, Soul Charge 2, and unflip, 2 Counterblasts. So it's more of a preference thing. I personally enjoy running the Goat over Lear just because he gets me that potential grade 3 beforehand and allows me to get another grade 3 in hand to Legion with. Lear is really nice, but eventually I always end up just throwing the stand trigger on the field anyway, and I'm flipping. So it's more of a personal preference thing.
With Chris's words of wisdom, Chris's comments.
Sorry, Chris's comments, okay.
So, as we can see here, we have 2 powerful starters. Now, with the Witch of Banquet's Leer, you want to keep in mind that this only works with Legion, and it's an on-hit with the Legion.
Exactly.
In our entire heavy meta, this might get retired before your 4th or 3rd turn. But the pros are you are getting 2 units for free that the next turn after they can be used as boosters.
And she's got that 1,000 base over him, that extra 5K.
Yeah, Dark Goat is going to be a low-powered booster, but he's going to be able to be used a lot faster, but he does cost a Counterblast, where the bosses are using 2 Counterblasts, so pros and cons, so try them both out. Okay, walking away.
See what you like.
Yeah, Shadow Paladins are really just Counterblast-heavy clan in general. But it's okay. You don't have to walk away, Chris. We enjoy your commentary.
That's why you're here.
So for my trigger lineup, I run 4 non-witch crit triggers and 4 witch crit triggers. So I run 8 crit. I was thumbing around with the idea of running 12 crit, but that's just really impractical in a counterblast heavy deck. You need that flipper, so the stand trigger is a must. And then these crits are great in the power drain. I run your standard 4 heal. Nothing really much to say about that. And the one who I've spoken so highly of, our stand trigger. So I run 4 Witch of Goat's Med. Her skill is when she's placed on rearguard. If you have a Witch Vanguard, you get Soul Charge 1, and Counterblast 1. Unflip 1, sorry. Yep. So she's an MVP of the deck as well. For my grade 1s, I run 2 Dark Shield Maclears, 2 Perfect Guards. In Legion decks, I like the idea of 2 Perfect Guards and 2 Quintet Walls, depending on the deck. These guys are really good. I might bump up to 3 Perfect Guards and 1 Quintet Wall. But for now, I like the 2 and 2. I was going to run Witch of Strawberries as the Perfect Guard, but realistically, this deck doesn't require any special counterblast, so just to keep it within the clan fight rules in case we ever get them in America, it's all Shadow Paladins. I run 2 Barrier Witch Grain, which is the Quintet Wall for the deck. Nothing really much to say about that. Just helps you lead them faster, but it does kind of cast a counterblast, so that's why I only really want to run 2, maybe 1 at most. But it is nice when you get an early game, block a lower stage attack, get 5 in the drop zone, set up for Legion perfectly. I run 3 Witch of Quest Sakurna. Her skill is if your Vanguard is in Legion, when she's placed, you could retire another Witch, And if your opponent has 2 or more grade 0s on the field, has 2 or more grade 0s on the field, you get to take away 5,000 from her Vanguard. So it's kind of fun and trolly to place a few of her on the field at a time. I personally like it.
Good for you.
Nicole's not a very
I'm a
big
fan of this deck.
Yeah. There's Crisco Chris's thought on the deck. Yeah, this is a good card. You want to run 3 of her, at least 3 of her. Some people like the playset of her. I don't know if I'd like to run a full 4 of her, just because I feel like there's other spots that could be taken up. But yeah, she sits happy at 3. I run 4 Witch of Precious Stones Dana, one of my favorite cards in the deck. When she's placed on the rearguard circle, you have a Witch Vanguard. Do you know? Yeah. Yep, with Witch in its name, you could Soul Blast 1 to replace a grade 0 from the drop zone, your opponent's drop zone, with a rearguard of your choice on their field. This is a card that's been splashed in a lot of Genesis Witch decks as well, just because that field disruption with their high columns. I like her because, well, I want my opponent's 0s on the field. Self-explanatory. I run 3 10k attackers. So here's where I might want to replace one of Sakurno with another 10k attacker, because once you're hitting for those big power drains, for example, if your opponent's at like -14, which isn't that hard to pull off in this deck at all, you want the 10k attackers because they help hit those high numbers that your opponent has to drop more hand for. Sakurno is nice and all, but her 6k base just doesn't really do as much as Witch of Ruination. I can never pronounce her name. Skathak. Yeah. So the 10k attacker, I might want to bump up 1 more. On to our grade 2s. I run 4 Inspection Witch Deidre. She's a grade 2 version of Dana. So when she's placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Witch in its name, you Soul Blast 1, replace a 0. Replace a rearguard of your choice with your opponents with the 0 in their drop zone. She's also the mate for the boss of the deck, Rias. Yeah. Sorry. Mental blank right there. Yeah, she's the mate of Rias, and you want to be careful when you play these guys just because, self-explanatory, if they have no 0s in the drop zone, it's a waste. I run 4 Witch of Reality Femme. She's the, or Femme, however you want to pronounce it. I say Femme, you say potato. You want to run 4 of the mate for each legion that you have no matter what, just so you could make sure you could pull the legion off. But she's nice because she's also a 12k attacker, so if you have a Witch with Vanguard in its name, she becomes a 12k. That's also really important for the numbers game when you're draining your opponent, so forces out more guard. Great card to have. And then, focusing on the power theme, I run 3 10k beaters, Comet Witch Serva. She's the mate for the other Witch Legion. Don't run that one in this deck just because she's pretty shitty. Just basic plus 5k. But she is nice because she's got that 10k base and it helps force out more guard. So that's it with the grade 2s. On to the grade 3s. I run 4 Mesmerizing Witch Fianna. Her skill is, when she's in Legion, Counterblast 2. If she's in Legion, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards in anywhere on the field and search the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck. Choose 2 from those top 10 if they're grade 0s, and your opponent chooses 2 grade 0s if they have them, and replaces those 2 rear guards. Her other skill is if your opponent has 2 or more 0s on the field, you can retire a rear guard that has the name of one of the units on the Vanguard circle, so either Fianna or Femme. Retire 1, retire that one, and draw 2. So she's a really good draw engine in the deck, which kind of nulls out the need for draw triggers in the deck. Really great card. She helps set up the field for the 4 Rias that I have. A lot of people think Fiona is the more important card of the deck. I personally think that Rios is way more important. You can get by without having Fiona if you want to run Break Ride and Rios or something like that. I don't know. Just if you want to get funny with it, I tend to run Rios and serve as mate. But then worry about the Fionas, because you can pull off the effects with just Rios if you have your field set up right. You could, her skill is when she legions, you could destroy a witch on your field to allow your opponent to which causes your opponent to lose 5k for every 0 on the field at the time. So it's really important to note the timing for that one, because any zeros placed on the field after that don't affect their negative power drain. So you make sure you want to set up your field correctly and control your opponent's field effectively before legioning with her. So, for example, without Fiona, if you were to just run Rios and, let's say, serve as mate, or Legionnaire, sorry, you would play, if you have the right hand for it, you would play Deidre or Dana on the field, get those zeros onto the field, use her counterblast cost, which is you counterblast 2, and choose one of your opponent's rear guards, search top of the 5 of their deck. If there's a 0 in it, you can replace that rear guard with it. You can only use it once per turn though, so hopefully you end up with a nice field of zeros on your opponents, and then you legion with her, maybe destroy your booster, whatever it is. Well, if it's GOAT, you can't. That's screwed me up a few times, so yeah. And then your opponent's sitting at a really shitty Vanguard with a really shitty field, and then you're hitting with those really nice numbers, and it's GG, especially with those Chris back in deck. Yeah. Yeah, they're still not a fan. I personally love this deck. I think it's one of the most.
Well, good for you.
I think it's one of the most fun decks I've played with. I was excited for it. Didn't disappoint. A lot of people have overlooked it just because of the PBA hype. Don't really blame them because, well, restands win games. But if you're looking for a more fun, technical Shadow Paladin deck to play, I would definitely recommend the Witches. They're lots of fun, and I can see a lot of people have put them down though, because they're not really autopilot. They're a little bit difficult to play, and you know, not everyone wants to deal with that. But if you're willing to take the task on, I'd definitely run them. I also built the Genesis Witches, so hopefully that'll be coming soon. And yeah, I hope you guys liked and enjoyed. So like, comment, subscribe. Give me any feedback on the deck, how you would make any changes, what you would do if you play the deck, how it's worked out for you, and yeah.
Don't hurt yourself, kids, playing these guys.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye. Thanks for all the support so far.